Millionaire CEO pretended to be an employee until he fell in love with a desperate poor girl. Luna Bennett clutched her folder tightly against her chest, her heart pounding with a mix of desperation and determination. No job, no money, rent overdue. She had nothing left to lose. She'd decided to take a bold step, walk into Brightcore, a towering corporate giant, and hand in her resume without an appointment. Stepping into the sleek building, she headed straight for the elevator, her worn-out blazer and messy hair a stark contrast to the polished surroundings. As the doors slid open, a man stood inside, dressed in a simple suit, his eyes fixed on his phone. Luna stepped in, forcing a confident smile. "Good morning," she said, her voice brighter than she felt. "Morning," he replied, barely glancing up. Luna pressed the button for the reception floor, the silence between them heavy. She shifted uncomfortably, her nerves bubbling over. To break the tension, she blurted, "Elevators are like life, you know. Sometimes you're going up, sometimes down, and sometimes you're just stuck." The man looked at her, a puzzled smile tugging at his lips. "Elevator philosophy? That's a first." Luna laughed, her cheeks flushing. "I'm an expert in random metaphors. Actually, I'm here to drop off a resume. No interview, just guts. Kinda crazy, right?" Before he could respond, the elevator jolted to a stop, the lights flickering, the panel frozen. Luna's eyes widened. "Oh no," she muttered, glancing up. The man turned pale, leaning against the wall, his breathing shallow. "You okay?" she asked, stepping closer. He nodded weakly, his voice tight. "Claustrophobic." Luna softened, her own nerves forgotten. "Look at me. Breathe in, breathe out. We're getting out of this, I promise. You won't die between the 10th and 11th floors." He managed a shaky laugh. "Imagine the headline, 'Man suffocates next to talkative girl.'" Luna grinned. "Or girl saves executive with bad jokes." Much better. Time passed as Luna kept talking. About the economy, how companies forget people, how we all just want someone to listen. "If I could tell one of those suit-and-tie bosses something," she said, "I'd say, smile more, walk the halls, remember the cleaning lady's name." He listened quietly, his breathing steadying, a faint smile on his face. When the elevator finally moved again, they both exhaled in relief. The doors opened at the reception floor. "It was a pleasure, Adrian," Luna said, noticing his name on his badge. "Hope your day goes smoother." "Likewise, Luna," he replied, stepping out another door before she could ask how he knew her name. At the front desk, the receptionist barely glanced at her resume, her expression cold. "We're not hiring," she said, setting the paper aside. Luna walked out, the weight of rejection heavy, the sun outside feeling hotter, the world grayer. "Dinah." Hours later, on Brightcore's top floor, Adrian Cole stood by his office window, still thinking about the chatty girl from the elevator. For 15 minutes, he hadn't been a CEO, just a man, lighter in her presence. He picked up the phone. "Executive office, this is Cole. A woman named Luna dropped off her resume today. Hire her. She starts Monday. No excuses." That evening, Luna's phone rang, an unknown number. "Miss Bennett, this is Brightcore. We're confirming your hiring. You start Monday." Luna hung up, stunned, her small room buzzing with her friends' cheers. High above the city, a CEO smiled, wondering what kind of girl could make silence feel so light. Luna Bennett's first day at Brightcore had been a whirlwind, but the memory of her elevator encounter with Adrian lingered, his calm demeanor and subtle smile replaying in her mind. By Thursday, she'd noticed Adrian everywhere, meetings, hallways, near the coffee machine, always listening more than speaking, his presence like glitter at a kid's party, impossible to ignore. That morning, she caught him wearing the same light blue shirt for the third day in a row. "Uniform or disguise?" she whispered to Julia, her energetic co-worker, while pouring coffee. Julia winked. "With that charm, I'm betting corporate spy." Luna laughed, but her curiosity buzzed. Adrian's role at Brightcore was a puzzle she couldn't solve. She didn't expect to see him at the strategic creative team's brainstorming meeting, But when the manager announced a special guest, Adrian walked in, holding a tablet, looking more rested than anyone in the room. "Good morning, everyone," he said, his voice steady. "I promise this won't be as traumatizing as a performance review." The team chuckled, though Raphael, the sarcastic designer, muttered, "That's what they say before torturing us with sticky notes." Adrian ignored the jab, his focus sharp. "The task is simple. Create a campaign around a concept companies claim but rarely practice. Truth in silence. I want ideas that make brands genuine, human, less marketing, more reality. Be honest, no filters. You've got 30 minutes. Go." Luna grabbed her notebook, her enthusiasm sparked by the bold theme. She couldn't help sneaking glances at Adrian. He seemed different today, more serious, yet that slight smile remained, as if he knew what everyone would say. After 30 minutes, the team presented their ideas, some solid, others creative, a few uninspired. When Luna's turn came, she stood, her voice steady. "My campaign, Stop Pretending, everyone knows, uses sarcasm for authenticity, showing what companies say versus what they do." She took a breath. "For example, we value each employee, paired with a shared fridge holding a wrinkled apple and a sticky note. Don't touch my yogurt." The room laughed. "Or we care about well-being, with an image of someone napping in the bathroom, forehead against the wall." More laughter. Laughing at what's wrong is the first step to changing it. Adrian watched her closely, his smile more evident. When she finished, he didn't clap like the others. Instead, he said, "You're brave." Luna raised an eyebrow. "Is that good?" "It's rare," he replied, his tone carrying weight. She sat, a proud smile tugging at her lips. That compliment felt more valuable than any evaluation. Later, in the break room, Luna was lost in thought, sipping water, when Adrian leaned against the counter beside her, holding a mug. "Did you have fun today?" he asked. "A little," she said, meeting his gaze. Speaking inconvenient truths is always fun, especially when the audience can only laugh. He nodded, taking a sip. "And you, Adrian, ever told an inconvenient truth?" "Yes," he said softly. "Today, actually." She tilted her head. "What was it?" "That I think you're brilliant." Luna nearly choked on her water, her cheeks flushing. "You intrigue me, Luna, since the elevator, the way you speak your mind without fear. I don't see that much here." His gaze wasn't just curious, it was interested, something beyond teamwork. "Do you always compliment people like that?" she asked, her voice teasing. "Only when it's deserved," he said, stepping closer. Silence fell, but it wasn't awkward. It made everything clearer. Then, gently, he reached for her face, and time paused as he kissed her, a simple, real kiss, tasting faintly of lukewarm coffee, their heartbeats racing. When they pulled back, Luna's eyes were still closed. "That was unexpected," she whispered. "Good or bad?" he asked. "Good," she smiled, "but you're still suspicious." "Then give me time to prove otherwise," he said, his voice warm, leaving her heart fluttering with a mix of happiness and questions. Luna Bennett had been tasked with delivering printed reports to the executive floor, just one floor up, simple and harmless. She stepped into the elevator, fixing her hair in the door's reflection, trying not to think about Adrian, whose mysterious presence had consumed her thoughts since their kiss in the break room. Reaching the floor, she found the meeting room listed on the paper, knocked on the slightly open door, and stepped in quietly. The room was full, and at the back, speaking about innovation and leadership, stood Adrienne, but not the Adrian with the casual shirt and cryptic comments. This was Adrian Cole, wearing a badge, a title on display. Behind him, the screen read in bold letters, Adrian Cole, CEO of Brightcore. Luna froze, her eyes wide, her heart sinking. Adrian stopped mid-sentence, his gaze meeting hers. She swallowed hard, took a step back and fled the room, the world spinning around her. Everything made sense now, the kiss, the coffees, his constant presence. Adrian wasn't just a curious employee, he was the CEO, the man in charge of it all. "No," she whispered in the elevator. "This can't be real." But it was. That evening, back at her small apartment, Luna flopped onto the couch, her mind replaying the scene. "So, mysterious Adrian was the boss all along," her friend Anna said, smirking, "and I thought he was just a quirky analyst." Luna groaned, throwing a pillow at her. "Don't say it out loud. I kissed the CEO." The next morning, Luna avoided the break room, the elevators, even the executive floor. She had spent the night rehearsing speeches, some cold, others dramatic, but none ended the way she hoped. At noon, she tried sneaking out to lunch early to avoid the crowd, but in the cafeteria, she saw him. Adrian sat at a corner table, 2 water bottles on it, a silent peace offering. She thought about ignoring him, but walked over, her heart pounding. "Can I sit?" she asked, her tone icy. "Please," he said softly. She sat, keeping her distance. "So, CEO," she began, folding her arms. Adrian sighed. "Luna, You let me believe you were just an employee," she cut in. "A guy who popped up with good taste in coffee. Even after the kiss, you stayed quiet." "I was going to tell you," he said, his voice earnest. "I just didn't know how, without it sounding like I was manipulating you. I wanted something real, without my name in the way." Luna's eyes narrowed. "But it was based on a lie. You had power over everything, and I didn't even know who you were." Adrian looked down, vulnerable. "You're right to be upset. I admired your boldness. It reminded me of who I was before the title. With you, I'm not the CEO. I'm just me." She took a deep breath. "That doesn't erase the fact that you hid it and put me in an awkward position." He nodded. "I understand. That's why I'm here. No badge, no excuses. Can we talk tonight, outside this place? Please." Luna hesitated, seeing the regret in his eyes. "I'm not ready to forgive you today," she said, "but I'll talk after work, somewhere we're not CEO and employee." That evening, Adrian waited by the main entrance in his light blue shirt, no suit, no fancy watch. They drove to a small, cozy restaurant with warm lights and rustic tables far from Brightcore's corporate world. Sitting by the window, Luna broke the silence. "Why me? Out of so many people? Why pay attention to me?" Adrian smiled softly. "Because you made me forget I have to be someone." Her heart softened, and in that quiet corner, they agreed to start over, no titles, just 2 people, trying not to mess up something good. Luna Bennett and Adrian Cole had agreed to start over after his identity as Brightcore's CEO was revealed, but their connection now carried an unspoken tension. "So, you're a semi-official couple with a confidentiality clause?" Anna teased, serving pancakes in their small apartment. Luna sighed, sitting at the table. "I'm not sure if I should be happy or worried." Anna grinned. "Be both. I am too." At Brightcore, rumors had quieted, HR stayed silent, and Adrian kept a public distance to avoid gossip. But hiding something so real was harder than they'd thought. On Tuesday afternoon, while sorting reports in the creative room, Luna overheard Julia whispering to Carol. "Did you see the spreadsheet for the branding team opening? They're considering Luna," approved directly by Adrian Cole. Luna froze, her face heating up. The position was coveted, and she hadn't even applied or been told. Adrian pushing her name behind the scenes felt like a betrayal. She stood, leaving the room without a word, and found Adrian alone in the 10th floor conference room, finishing a contract. "Can we talk?" she asked, her voice sharp. He looked surprised but nodded. "Of course. What's going on?" She closed the door. "Did you recommend me for the branding position?" He hesitated. "Yes, I did. You've got real talent, Luna. The role needs your creativity, your vision. Was that before or after you got involved with me?" she cut in. "It has nothing to do with that," he insisted. "It has everything to do with it, Adrian. It looks like special treatment. I'm trying to earn my place my way, and now everything feels tainted." Adrian stood, his expression conflicted. "I wanted to give you a real opportunity. Your work is above average. You know that. Tell me what I should do? Ignore your talent? Pretend I don't see your potential? I'm your boss, but I also want what's best for you. Luna's throat tightened. It feels like a chess move, and I don't know if I'm being played or thrown away. Her voice wavered, but she refused to cry. Maybe we're going too fast. Do you want to stop? He asked softly. I need to think, she said, leaving the room, her chest heavy. That night, Luna came home exhausted. Anna turned off the TV, sensing her mood. We had a fight, Luna admitted. Adrian recommended me for a position without telling me. Now I feel like an emotional lab experiment. My name's moving up because of him. Anna sat beside her. You don't have to prove anything to anyone, Luna. Just be sure what you want is yours. Luna sighed. I wish he were just Adrian from the elevator, nothing more. The next morning, Adrian didn't show up. No messages, no car in the parking lot. At 3 p.m., an email arrived. Subject, temporary replacement. CEO Adrian Cole will be out for 2 days due to external commitments. Luna felt the weight of his absence, a quiet space no one dared to fill. The second day, Luna arrived early, but the office felt different. At a meeting with 2 board directors, they probed her experience, mentioning the branding position was on hold. We'd like to know if you're still interested in growing with the company, one said. Luna kept her expression steady. Of course, I'm here to work. She left, her legs shaky, the knot in her chest tightening. Later, she found a small box on her car's back seat, a note in Adrian's handwriting. Just a reminder that before I was CEO, I was just a guy in an elevator. Inside was a keychain shaped like an elevator with 2 tiny metal figures. She held it gently, torn between a smile and tears. Luna Bennett stood amidst the soft lighting of the urban photography gallery, sipping wine with Anna, the black and white photos of spiral staircases on the wall mirroring her tangled emotions. This is life. No HR, no reports, just wine and pretending to be intellectual, Anna said with a grin. Luna nodded, but her thoughts were elsewhere, until a familiar voice broke through. Hope you didn't start without me. She turned to see Adrian, his leather jacket and open-collared shirt unable to hide the tiredness in his eyes. Anna stepped away, leaving them alone. I thought you were still on leave, Luna said, her tone edged with irony. I was, but I got tired of staying away, Adrian replied, his gaze steady. I heard you'd be here. I couldn't go another day without saying what I need to say. Luna crossed her arms. Say it. He took a breath. I messed up again, trying to do the right thing the wrong way. I wanted to protect you, but I pushed you away. I wanted to help, but I exposed you, not out of carelessness, but because I'm figuring out how to be myself with you. She stayed silent, her heart torn. What if I don't want to figure it out anymore? His eyes softened. Then I'll accept that. But if any part of you still wants to try, I'll be here, even from the outside. The ambient noise faded, the world too quiet. You can't make promises, Luna said, her voice low. But I can make choices, Adrian replied. I'm choosing you, even if you don't choose me right now. She looked away, questions swirling, but a feeling lingered. One wrong step could ruin everything, or lead to a new path. That night, Luna returned home silent. Anna, sensing her mood, made tea, placed it in Luna's lap, and sat beside her. A movie playing neither watched. Some things words couldn't explain, and Luna wasn't sure if she felt pain or the weight of an unmade decision. The next morning, Brightcore buzzed with tension. Adrian was back, but the upper floors felt heavy. Julia whispered as Luna passed the kitchen. The board had an emergency meeting. Everyone's whispering. Luna gripped her bag strap tighter. At 10 a.m., Adrian reappeared, his posture stiff, watched from every angle. He gave her a small wave from afar, but kept his distance. They were public strangers now, too close to ignore, too distant to pretend nothing had happened. At lunch, Luna stayed in an empty meeting room, eating alone until Thomas knocked, holding a sushi box. Thought you might want company, he said. She nodded, and he sat across from her. "I know things are strange around here. You can feel it." Luna managed a faint chuckle. "You pick up on things fast." Thomas shrugged. "Field training. I was once the center of a scandal that never happened, favoritism rumors, all because I was close to a manager. They didn't care about the truth, just the noise." Luna softened, seeing a shared pain. "How did you handle it?" "I transferred. Started over, painful but necessary." He stood, leaving her with a quiet piece of advice. "Don't shut yourself off. You're more than what they say." That afternoon, Adrian gathered the creative team, his tone all business. "Review the new campaign materials by Friday. We're closing a deal with a tech company, and this needs to be perfect." His glance at Luna held a silent message. "I'm still here." But at day's end, HR called her in. "This is an advance notice," the manager said. "The board has opened an investigation to ensure no ethical misconduct occurred in recent months." Luna's stomach dropped. "Because of me?" The manager hesitated. "You're at the center of an unusual situation." Shaken, Luna went to the terrace for air, where Adrian found her. "They've put me in the middle of an investigation," she said, her voice trembling. "Is this what you meant by standing up for us?" He stepped closer. "You're not in this fire because of me. It's because the system can't handle someone who challenges the order. I'm trying to fight this with you." "It feels like I'm fighting alone," she replied, walking away, her heart heavy with fear and hurt. Luna Bennett's days at Brightcore had been a storm of scrutiny, with Henry, the audit observer, becoming a silent fixture in the office. His presence no longer drew curiosity. He was like furniture, quiet, discreet, always but watching, a mirror that reflected everything without judgment. Luna tried to focus on work, but her attention frayed among reports and unanswered messages, the constant gaze of the observer weighing on her. "Has he ever smiled at you?" Julia asked, tweaking the presentation system. "Henry?" "Not once. I'm starting to think he's an AI in a suit," Luna replied, managing a faint laugh, despite her unease. She and Adrian had barely spoken since the gallery night, their exchanges limited to professional emails, revised attachments, extended deadlines, nothing more. But inside, her emotions screamed. On Thursday morning, Luna was called into the conduct committee room. The atmosphere was heavy. A company lawyer, 2 board members, and Henry in the corner, watching without his tablet. "Miss Bennett," the compliance director began, "we need to review communication between you and the CEO over the last 90 days. Luna nodded, steadying herself. "How would you describe your relationship with Mr. Cole?" "Polite, professional," she said firmly. "Do you deny there was a personal relationship?" the director pressed. "I don't deny it, but that's not the point. The point is what I deliver, the campaigns I built, the recognition I earned before I knew who he was." Silence followed. "We received an anonymous email," the director continued, "claiming you had access to strategic decisions before others, that you received special treatment." Luna frowned. "An anonymous email can say anything. I didn't have access to anything beyond my role." Henry took a note, his first movement that day. That afternoon, Adrian appeared in the creative room, requesting a review of the new product presentation. He was polite, distant, impeccable, testing her, perhaps. As Thomas whispered, "Seems like he wants to see if you'll fall apart." Luna focused on the screen, the blinking logo a distraction. "I'm trying to figure out if I even want to keep solving this puzzle," she murmured. On Friday, Anna arrived at Brightcore with coffee and a flyer for a modern art exhibit. "It won't fix anything, but it's a distraction," she said, handing it over. Luna agreed, craving a break. The exhibit was vibrant, chaotic paintings, abstract sculptures, a blinking light installation. As Luna and Anna watched, a woman approached. "You're Luna Bennett, right?" she said, her red hair tied in a bun. "I'm Emily, ex-Brightcore Innovation Department." Luna nodded. "Did you know Adrian?" Emily smiled. "He's brilliant but private. When he gets close to someone, it matters. He doesn't open up easily. If he did with you, you're different." "On Saturday already?" Luna received a call from Brightcore's front desk, an unknown number. "Mr. Cole left something for you in the lobby." She arrived to find a box with a light blue ribbon. Inside were a printed campaign they created together, a photo of them laughing in the hallway, one she didn't know existed, and a blank sheet with a note. "To write what comes next, if you still want to." Her heart caught in her throat. On Monday, the committee delivered its verdict. "We found no clear violation of conduct but advise caution. The branding position is reopened, based on merit. Your name will be evaluated with the others." Luna thanked them, feeling lighter. In the hallway, Adrian approached. "Can I walk you out?" he asked. "Sure," she said. They walked side by side, unhurried. "I saw the box," she said. "I noticed I didn't get a reply." "I'm still writing," she replied. He smiled. "I'm ready to stop running." She stopped, meeting his gaze. "I don't want easy. I want real." "Then let's go," he said. "Wherever. Just with me." And she went, not because she was sure, but because she was free from the fear of getting it wrong. Luna Bennett and Adrian Cole stepped into Brightcore's lobby on a Monday morning hand in hand, no announcement needed. The whispers started instantly. "Oh my," a project assistant murmured. "So it was true," someone said in the elevator. Luna kept her face calm, knowing this first public walk would be the hardest. But Adrian's steady presence beside her, a man with nothing left to hide, made it easier. In the boardroom for the day's first meeting, the air was quieter than usual. Luna headed to her corner, but Adrian gestured her closer. "You're presenting with me today," he said softly. She hesitated, then joined him. The meeting focused on Brightcore's new partnership with a global tech network, a project Luna and Adrian had built together. "All the creative work here is from Luna Bennett," Adrian announced. "I was just there watching it come to life." Luna took a deep breath and presented, her voice steady, focusing on her work, not their relationship. With every slide, the room forgot the rumors, seeing her talent instead. When she finished, they applauded. Adrian touched her hand discreetly, whispering, "I'm proud of you." She smiled, feeling whole for the first time in months, no longer torn between her professional and personal life. At lunch, they sat together in the cafeteria, deliberately visible. Julia approached, grinning. "So it's official?" "Official," Luna replied, picking up a fry. "You took longer than a Netflix series to reveal the ending, but it was worth the wait," Julia teased before walking off. Thomas stopped by, holding an iced tea. "Congratulations, Luna, on the presentation and on you two." "Thank you," she said, touched by his sincerity. Adrian held her hand under the table, his grip steady. That afternoon, the communications director called Luna in. "The campaign was a success," she said, smiling. "We're creating a separate creative unit for special projects, bolder with more freedom. We want you to lead it." Luna blinked. "Lead? Yes, with full autonomy. A small team, flexible goals, freedom to experiment." Luna paused, then nodded. "I accept, but on one condition. My role and ideas are never tied to a relationship. My work stands on its own." The director smiled. "It already does." After work, Adrian drove them to a quiet neighborhood, stopping at a charming building with a brick facade and large windows. "What is this?" Luna asked. "Our future creative office," he said. "I bought it. A space where ideas can grow without approval layers. I want you to lead it your way." Luna hugged him on the sidewalk, her voice soft. "Thank you for believing in me." "I never had a doubt," he replied. That night they cooked together. Adrian was terrible with garlic, and Luna laughed as he danced while stirring sauce. Over soda, she asked, "When did you know you wanted this with me?" "When you told me in the elevator to smile more and remember the cleaning lady's name," he said. "And I do. Evelyn on the 6th floor, Maria on the 10th. Denise at reception." "Touched," Luna whispered. "You really listened." "I listened to everything from you," he said. In the following days, they prepared the new space. Luna sketched layouts. Anna suggested a yellow couch. Julia added a sci-fi coffee machine. Adrian arrived with pizza and a small box containing a metal sculpture of two figures in an elevator. "To celebrate the beginning," he said. Luna smiled, holding it gently. "We started in the most unlikely place. And now we're exactly where we're meant to be," he replied. On a sunny Saturday, the space named Creaco opened. Luna spoke last, her voice warm. "I came to Brightcore to drop off a resume, stepped into an elevator, and walked out with a different life. This space was born from the courage to step outside the mold." That night they danced slowly in the empty office, connected in silence. Luna Bennett and Adrian Cole's creative space, Creaco, grew faster than anyone expected, its colorful rooms filled with ideas and laughter. Brightcore, once a symbol of formality, now pulsed with creativity, and Luna was its heart. Adrian watched her daily with quiet pride, no longer needing to step in. She was the leader she was born to be, strong, approachable, brilliant. Their routine was simple, taking turns cooking, doing dishes, driving Anna to the grocery store when she refused to renew her license. But something deeper had been growing between them, something undeniable. One Saturday morning, Adrian asked Luna to meet him at the trail behind town, a place they'd visited once, which she'd once called so beautiful it made you want to stay forever. After a 40-minute climb, Luna reached the top, breathless. Fairy lights hung from the trees, forming a semicircle around a rustic wooden table with a white cloth and 2 plates. The sunset painted the sky in gold and orange, reflecting on the small lake nearby. Adrian stood in the center, sleeves rolled up, his expression saying everything. "Is this?" Luna began, amazed. "Depends," he teased. "Did you think this was just dinner?" She laughed. "I thought you wanted to review another presentation." He took her hand, leading her into the lights. "Luna Bennett, you came into my life in the tightest space imaginable," he said, making her laugh. "You found room inside me for everything I didn't know I needed. You taught me to step off the pedestal, to listen, more than give orders, to love through small details." He pulled out a small box. "Will you marry me?" Luna laughed through tears. "This is completely irresponsible and exactly what I want. Yes." He slipped the ring on her finger, hands trembling, and they kissed as the sunset paused the world around them. 3 months later, they wed at a vineyard in the California hills, vines dancing in the breeze. Luna wore a flowing dress, her hair gently pinned with loose strands, framing her face. Adrian, in a light blue suit, skipped the tie. "Commitment doesn't need to be tight," he'd smiled. Anna brought the rings. Julia cried throughout, and Thomas, now promoted and married, took photos. During the vows, Adrian promised, "I'll listen to you, laugh at your metaphors, bring coffee on cloudy days, and dance with you without music." Luna, eyes glowing, replied, "I'll hold your hand through crazy ideas and hard days, remind you vulnerability is strength, and that our story is just beginning." They kissed under a shower of white petals, Brightcore employees cheering like family. On their honeymoon in an Oregon lake house, they unplugged, cooking, reading, sitting quietly. One morning, Luna brought tea to the porch, her nervous look betraying the calm. "I need to tell you something," she said. Adrian raised an eyebrow. "Forgot to pay the credit card?" "No," she smiled, placing a hand on his chest. "I'm pregnant with twins." His eyes widened. "2 babies." He stood, sat, then stood again, laughing. "We're going to be a small, noisy, messy team." He knelt, hands on her belly. "They'll be amazing, part of you." She held his face. "And part of you." Months later, Creaco expanded, and Brightcore launched a creativity program inspired by Luna's unit. One afternoon, Luna found Adrian on the living room floor, struggling with a crib manual. "Are you helping or pretending this is too easy?" he teased. She sat beside him, head on his shoulder. "If someone had told me my life would change in an elevator, I'd have laughed." But you walked in, he said, kissing her forehead. And now I never want to leave. Thank you for joining Adrienne and Luna's journey in Millionaire CEO pretended to be an employee until he fell in love with a desperate poor girl. Their story proves love can heal through storms, offering second chances and the courage to stay. We're grateful for your support at Timeline Stories. If their tale touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more heartfelt journeys. Drop a comment to share your thoughts. Your feedback means the world. Until next time, stay kind, stay brave, and keep believing in love that finds a home against all odds.